I'd like to thank Alex. Thank you so much for that very warm and at least witty toast to the lassies. I have to say that when I first heard that Alex was going to be doing the toast to which I'd be replying, I started to get a bit anxious. This is because for those of you who don't know, Alex is actually my boss. And in all the scenarios in which I thought I'd made some sort of career-critical mistake, in front of an assembled audience to watch at a party supper was certainly not one of them. This scenario becomes even more daunting when you consider that after 2 prime-time television slots in the last few months, he's becoming quite the entertainer. But Alex, for the sake of the guests gathered here tonight, I'm delighted that you saved the best of your one-liners for us here this evening, raising the bar even higher for when the time eventually comes for you to bid farewell to diplomacy and to embark on your true calling as Joe Suarez protégé. So how on earth am I going to do justice on behalf of the lassies, trading witty verbal blows with a seasoned professional? Well, I have to tell you, it's not going to be easy, but against stiff competition, I'm going to do my very best not to let the lassies be outdone, keep it classy, and at a minimum, make sure I'm allowed back in the office on Monday morning. For those of you who are not familiar with a burn supper, this toast is really the opportunity for us lassies to get their own back on the men, and to remedy any misrepresentations that might have been levelled against us. It's our chance to remind the laddies here tonight that as much as they think they might be perfect, they too have their fair share of shortcomings. Where do I start, I hear you ladies say? Well, that's a question I really did debate long and hard, particularly given the eclectic mix of Scots, Brazilians, and all those in between I knew would be here tonight. Which trait, which annoyance do us lassies have to endure the world over? And then it dawned on me. In Brazil, during a World Cup year, there was really no other option but to address the male love affair with football. Now, in Ravi's day, it was much simpler for us women. Football wasn't a completely alien concept in Burns' time. In fact, a Scots writer Burns admired a great deal, a Reverend Robert Skinner, made reference in one of his early poems to what Pele would eventually call the beautiful game, in rather less poetic terms as only a Scot could, as bang. But happily for the ladies of the period, the concept of a professional football team was yet to take hold. As far as Ravi was concerned, without a team to support, he only had eyes for the lassies and was able to get down to the really serious business of writing poetry, of expressing freely and passionately his love for women. He said, "I never had the least thought nor inclination of turning poet until I got heartily in love. Then rhyme and song became the spontaneous language of my heart. Oh, how times have changed. Long gone are the days when our men could think of no better way to spend their spare time than penning sweet stanzas for their fair ladies. Now the best that we can really hope for is that they find the time and remember in between matches to write lots of love on a birthday card or perhaps your anniversary card." Of course, I'm not saying that us ladies don't appreciate a good game of football. The physical prowess, the tactics, the well-kept pitch. What I'm talking about is the male obsession for the sport. I'm talking about our men watching any game, no matter the team or quality, just because it's on television. Planning their weddings and holidays around the last match of the season. Or fancying themselves as football managers, agonising over their fantasy football team for hours in front of the computer. Now as women, we find this all a bit of a strange and odd devotion. And according to a recent study, it's quite an alarming one. This study found that roughly one quarter of the 3,000 men surveyed would choose their team over their partner. Now, as the source of this research was betor.com, the social betting community for sports fans who like to chat and bet, I, as a good economist, thought better of just relying on one source and went searching for more. And to my horror, what I found hit even closer to home. Now, my dear boyfriend is no exception to this love affair with football as an avid fan of Newcastle United. So you'll excuse my horror when I find out the very respectable scientists at Bristol University carried out some research to test the theory. Who do men really love more, their team or their women? And in doing this, they picked a group of Newcastle fans as their sample. A group of fans who are renowned the world over for their unwavering support for their team. When asked, these men told scientists that they felt as much affection for their football team as they did for their loved ones. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, after finishing the scientific tests, the fans were given two voodoo dolls, one representing their partner and the other the team's star player. The dilemma facing them was this: they had to stick a pin in either their other half and have her laid up in bed for a week with the flu, or stick a pin in the team's star player and have him miss a vital match. Now, one fan, a season ticket holder for 12 years who had only missed 2 games in the entire period, decided that there really was just one choice. When it came down to it, he said, I just couldn't have Jonas Gutierrez missing a game, so I stuck the pin in the missus.